Greetings and good day, this is Donnie with TechWinter, and thank you so much for joining me today. Well guys, the folks at U-Tec, yes, the makers of the Ultraloq series of smart locks reached out to me again recently and introduced me to a new product they have that's called the Latch 5 Smart Lock. This thing has a fingerprint reader, you can use codes, you can use an app, it connects to Wi-Fi. So without any further ado, let's dive in and let's take a look. So guys, you may have watched my recent video about the Ultraloq smart deadbolt that I installed in my house. Guys, I've now been using that thing for about a month and a half and it's been absolutely fantastic. The batteries that came with it are continuing to work. Everything's good. Totally thrilled with it. I have zero complaints about the build quality, the connectivity that it has over Z-Wave, and now I've got this new product that they are now coming out with called the Latch 5 that connects directly to Wi-Fi, and I want to walk you through what that unboxing experience looks like. As you can see here, just opening up that box, everything has this nice packaging to it. There's great documentation that's inside of the wrapper here. It even has templates if you were to use this on a door that hasn't already been pre-drilled. They have everything in there that you would need to actually get that door bored out so that you could actually use this lock inside of a brand new door. And just going through this unboxing here, this first impressions of especially this handle, this build quality is absolutely terrific. The black finish that you have on it is kind of like this cast iron feel to it. This thing is incredibly solid. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel plasticky at all. And kind of opening up here, this piece that's got the keypad on it and the fingerprint. Yes, this is the part that would be on the outside of the door. Same build quality there. It feels very durable, nice metal finish on it. And then kind of looking at the interior side of it, the part that will actually house the batteries itself, it is plasticky. It's definitely not going to be weatherproof, but again, this is something that's going to be on the interior side of a door. Yes, it's still rated to I believe it's like 50 degrees below Fahrenheit. This thing's going to continue to work for you. So nothing to worry about on that front, but definitely the build quality on the inside housing is very plasticky. The handle itself, again, yes, it has that nice solid cast iron feel to it and it's absolutely incredible. So just for the purposes of this exercise, I'm going to install this right here on my door in my office. This is not going to be where it's going to eventually end up. That's another project that will be coming down the road. We'll talk about someday in the future. But as you can see here, just getting this tied into the door, it's a very straightforward process. It's very easy. They have directions. If you've never installed any type of door hardware before, it's a very straightforward process. Anyone can do it. You will need a Phillips head screwdriver, which is not included in the packaging, so just be aware of that. But beyond that, very simple process, as you can see here. Putting on that exterior piece, there is a cable that you need to fish through here that connects into that back part where the batteries are housed. And then there's basically 3 screws that you tie into the back of it that basically hold everything together. There's some additional screws there as well that I did not attach to this door. You might see in some of the demos here where it's going to kind of move back and forth because I didn't mount those in. One thing that might be standing out to you here is the fact that this thing is very tall. And if you are putting this in a door that may currently have a deadbolt and a doorknob, it will cover up that deadbolt piece for you. And it'll do a good job of enclosing that for you as well, so that you may not even notice that there was at one point a deadbolt on that door. Because I can't say enough about the build quality of this thing. I'm very impressed with it just going through this installation process. It does include, of course, the 4 AA batteries that you'll need. They do say that they expect those 4 AA batteries to last for up to a year. We'll definitely see how that works for me. The mileage may vary. This is a Wi-Fi connected device, so sometimes those can consume more based on how far you might be from the nearest access point. So the upcoming future project that I'm talking about is going to be pretty far from an access point, so we'll see how those batteries play out and maybe give you guys an update in the future depending on how that actually plays out. But setting this thing up in the app is a very straightforward process. Basically, you open up the U-Tec app, you walk through the steps of adding a new device, you tell it exactly what this is. Yes, it's a Latch 5 Wi-Fi connected, and I start going through that process of basically connecting it to my Wi-Fi network. Very straightforward. Full disclosure here, it didn't connect on my first attempt. On the second attempt, it did connect just fine. Zero issues moving forward since then. I was able to get into the settings. I was able to go through the process of adding a fingerprint, adding a code that you would use to get in, which for the purposes of this demo, I just made it 1234. And as you can see here, just adding in that 1234 unlocks the door and allows it to go in. This door does have auto lock built into it. So you can set that from an increment of anywhere between 3 seconds and 5 minutes to where once a code is entered or a fingerprint is read, the door stays unlocked. There is a setting in there as well if you want to change this to like a passive mode to where it just stays unlocked, especially if you like maybe you have a lot of people coming in and out, maybe you have a party at your house and you don't want this thing to keep locking and somebody having to go put in a code. That would kind of get old and frustrating. You can put it into a passive mode to where it just stays unlocked until you tell it to go back to that locked mode again. There is no manual way to lock it from the inside, so that's something you would have to do from the app, or if you were to integrate this with something like Alexa, you could force it to lock itself. But if that is something that's a concern for you, from a safety perspective, it's always going to unlock if you pull the handle from the inside. So I like that, especially if you need to make a quick exit from wherever you are. But just be aware that there's not a way to force it to lock manually from the inside. Again, that's where the auto lock really comes into play. Whatever your level of comfort there is, if you want that thing to be forced to lock, you can set that at a very short time increment. By default, it was actually set at 5 seconds. For my experience, I went ahead and just said it's like 1 minute. Usually if I'm kind of coming in and out, I might like to be able to do that. I also do like that from the keypad on the outside, you can press the enter key and it will just automatically lock the door for you. But first impressions, just testing this thing out, Ultraloq strikes again. Latch 5, build quality excellent. Connectivity so far has been excellent for me. And just the usability, so far so good. Also in the description, I'll put a link to the product with some discount information there as well. But huge thanks to everyone at U-Tec for providing me this demo unit and allowing me to test it. And this is a brand new product from them, and the build quality is excellent. The fingerprint reader is very responsive, and guys, so far so good, 0 complaints. Thank you so much for joining me today. And if you haven't already, I'd ask you to consider liking and subscribing and hitting that bell notification so that you're always staying up to date with new content as it's uploaded. But for now, I'm Donnie with Tech Winner, giving the Latch 5 2 thumbs up. You guys have a great day.